What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Another late night stream for you guys. Quite enjoying these late night streams, to be fair. And this evening, we've actually got quite a bit to talk about. Paul O'Keefe has been on Last Word on Spurs. We've got some other bits and pieces as well. So, shall we get straight into it?
Let's do it. Let's do it. People are hungry for the news. Don't want to hear us rattling on.
Well, first and foremost, you know where we're going to start, and that is going to be Mr. Thomas Frank, because Paul O'Keefe did say on the podcast today that Frank has agreed personal terms with Tottenham to be Tottenham manager. Obviously, a deal is expected to be finalised next week. As of tonight, there's been no club-to-club agreement between Tottenham and Brentford for Frank, but the deal should go through and will happen next week at some point, which, I think is no secret to anyone.
Yeah, very much in line with what we've been hearing. Obviously, we heard from what's called Natalie Sawyer earlier today that she says it's pretty much a done deal. I think it's just a matter of time at this point. It's fantastic for Frank himself to be getting a job like this in terms of the job he's done at Brentford. So, look, the anticipation's building, the excitement's building, and I'm looking forward to the announcement. Hopefully, we get it early next week.
So that's the Frank news. I mean, how much can we talk about the same thing over and over again? So, Frank looks like it's going to set to happen. We'll bring you some more content over the week about what we think of Frank Tottenham could look like. He did some interesting stuff about what Spurs' plans are in the transfer window. He said there were kind of like, we're on to like phase two, or I don't want to call it phase two. I'll call it like stage two, because the phases don't wash with me. But in stage one, it was all about getting the young players on long contracts, securing the future of the football club, so to speak. And now that's kind of done. We're moving on to kind of stage two this summer, which is getting in more experienced, established players. And he says if he was to guess, the kind of age bracket of players that we're going to bring in this window are going to be between the ages of like 23 and 27, which is music to my ears, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's guessing, so it's hard to really know if that's the truth. But hopefully that's true. I think that's what we want. This is what we've been calling for: players in their prime, ready to step in, who've got a bit of experience within the game and are ready to kind of take us on. But obviously, he said if he was to guess, so it's hard to say that's the official policy of Tottenham.
Yeah, he did follow on with that, saying, "You just never know with Tottenham,"
which is absolutely correct. And we have heard, a lot of rumours have been recently with Dibling, Froholt, Hayden Hackney, a lot of younger players. So hopefully we do get the likes of Eze and Buemo, these kind of people who are in their prime, and we know are massive upgrades on what we currently have within the team. So I think that's what Tottenham fans want. I think that's what the squad needs, because we don't really have too many players in that sweet spot, do we? Really, when you think about it, in the squad, it's kind of like we've got players in like their late 20s, and we've got players like in their like very early 20s or teens. But like players like 23 to 27, how many do we actually have in our starting 11?
Porro, Romero.
Got Brennan's just turned 24, I guess.
Yeah, Brennan, Maddison, Solanke.
Maddison, yeah, but he's 28 now, 28, 29.
Yeah.
Solanke's 27, 28, maybe 27. Like a lot of them, not many. Bentancur 28.
Some either like nearing to 30 or in the teenager to early 20s bracket. Yeah. So it's time to get some in this window. That's what it's going to be all about, and that's the kind of prime age you want them at. Going into their prime and already having a lot of experience behind their belt.
But also, they're the most expensive,
of course.
So that's the problem, isn't it? They're the ones that cost the most money.
That's exactly the problem, because the update I'm going to bring you next is on Eberechi Eze. And Paul O'Keefe says that the board would like to do that deal. He's a player that's been on their radar for some time. However, it's just the funds that are holding it back.
Surprise, surprise. I mean, he said in his update that he said that whether a move for Mbeumo would affect that, he doesn't know. But I just get a feeling with Frank coming in now, with his ability to first of all improve players, get the most out of the squad. All that's what he's coming in for, essentially, because that's what he did at Brentford. I don't know if he's going to be like, I need a £50 million signing here. I need a £60 million signing here. I need all these signings. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have a massive summer based on like just because of the manager he is. I don't know how demanding he's going to be. Like, is he going to be like, I'll just work with whatever I get kind of thing? Whereas I think we know the reason I'm saying that is I think with Ange, I think we know, given the type of football he wanted to play, that it needed, like seriously needed more quality, like in this squad. That was like, so we needed like 40, 50, 60 million pound signings as a must. Whereas with Frank coming in, and because his modus operandi is I can work under, I overperform the budget, right? That's like what he does. Is he gonna not demand that serious quality upgrade that maybe the squad needs?
Yeah, but regardless of that, Paul did say on the podcast that, Spurs within themselves, never mind the manager, know they're short in certain areas, and then they're going to need to get players in those areas to let Frank compete.
I'm not talking about getting players in. I'm talking about getting big money signings in.
Yeah. Look, it's not even about them big money signings. It's about big money wages. Like, we're going to have so much wages out the door. There's no reason not to, get players on that command, on the top end of the wages.
Well, the reason would be is Frank can overperform his wage budget. So why get too big a wages when he can just overperform?
I think there's a fine line here because you're talking about getting Brentford to overperform, getting into mid-table. There's another thing, getting Tottenham to overperform, to bring in trophies and compete in the top four. And that's what they want out of a manager. They don't want one or the other. I think they want both.
I agree, and I think I think we need, especially with Champions League coming in. I think we need players with bigger wages. I just get the feeling he's being brought in because that is what he does. Can he get these? They're going to want to see if he can overperform with players with the wages that we've got currently, rather than get loads of players on bigger wages.
Well, I'm not saying loads of players but on bigger wages, but when you're looking at the wages going out the door, the Timo Werners, like we mentioned already yesterday, and the Fraser Forsters, 75 grand a week, plus all the wages that we've got off the book over the last couple of years with Kane and Højbjerg and and all the rest of them. There's got to be some wiggle room in the budget to bring in some players on, in the 150 plus bracket. There's got to be.
I agree. There should. I reckon we might bring in one or two at max. I don't think much more than that.
I'll be happy if we brought in 2, 3. I think if we brought in 2, 3 players in that bracket, it will significantly improve us.
I don't think we're going to be bringing 3. That's my prediction. That's the feeling I get.
We don't know that, but yeah, it's your prediction. But we'll see. That's what we need, though. I think it will.
That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. And what we need. Yeah,
it would significantly improve us.
Of course it would, and that's what this squad needs. 100%. And we need at least 3 players in that bracket that we're talking about on significant wages and raising the quality of this squad. 100%. I just get the feeling that now with the manager we're getting in, it's not a criticism at all. I just get the feeling that that's part of the reason he is being brought in, is because they don't want to spend loads of money this summer.
Well, it's all about to be revealed, but you know what? No, judging by our owners, I wouldn't put it past them. On Bryan Mbeumo, he did say that on the Eberechi saga, he said, however, now their ears have been pricked by Thomas Frank in regards to Bryan Mbeumo. The interest is definitely real. And he was asked about the rumours of Tottenham doing the hijack deal, if they're fake or not. And he says, not entirely fake. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And he says, Tottenham are currently looking into Bryan Mbeumo, who's also being targeted by Manchester United. And if they get the deal for Thomas Frank over the line, they will start to consider the move from Bryan Mbeumo. So only consider.
Of course, they'll think about it. Classic Tottenham. Let's hope that Frank can use his powers of persuasion to bring Mbeumo with him. That's what I'd love. I'm sure Mbeumo is one of those players where, because I think Frank obviously is going to have to take a good look at the squad. There's going to be players who maybe were out the door that maybe Frank will want to take another look at. For example, players like Basuma, blah, 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 even Richarlison and things like that. But I also think there are players that Frank knows very well, and he'll know that automatically he'll want to bring in with him because he knows how good they are. I think Mbeumo would fall into that category, someone like Eze would, where I don't think he would have to look at the squad necessarily to see, do I need an upgrade here or should I bring this player because they're just that good? But I think there will be, I think Frank is going to want to look at all these players because there are probably some players who we think are better than they've been showing. And I think the club think that as well. And look, that we were 17th. We know this club isn't 17th, right? This squad. So I reckon Frank's going to want to have a good look. Huh?
It's a given.
Yeah, and I think Frank's going to want to have a good look at this squad that we've got, and before making major judgments about who wants in or out. So I think maybe we'll get one like an Mbeumo or something before pre-season, but I think there's not going to be too much action, I reckon, transfer-wise before. That's my prediction as well.
Talking about centre-backs, just quickly touching on Mark Gehi, he says that a deal for Gehi will be difficult to complete. Gehi has been talking to other clubs in recent weeks, and he was talking about the bid that we put in at the back end of January, and he said that was definitely real when we went in for him in a big way. But I mean, you don't go in for someone on a big way and on the last day of the window and expect to get it over the line, especially someone of that caliber.
Agreed. And maybe we thought there was an opportunity with him having 18 months on his deal. Maybe Palace would be open to it. But again, unless you're laying the groundwork throughout the window for it, just springing that a bid on deadline day and expecting Palace to accept when they just lost Chalobah in that window as well. So they don't really have an appetite for losing another centre-back. And they don't know, you're not giving them much time as well to replace him, is always going to be a tall order. Not to say that maybe they look at it and think, yeah, okay, let's go for it. Like, it's a great deal. We're not going to get that money. And maybe, in 6 months' time, they're thinking, they're the type of club that are happy to take the money and reinvest. But it's a risk, and the risk didn't pay off. That's how I'd look at it.
Yeah. I mean, we ended up with Danso in the end. Obviously, Guehi's, a step up from Kevin Danso. And Gehi's actually someone that you look at where if Romero was to leave, you'd be happy with him kind of being the replacement for him, wouldn't you? You couldn't really say. I mean, I like Danso, but I don't think like he's a natural replacement for Kuti.
Danso's good, don't get me wrong. I like him, but from what I've seen, the evidence I've seen from him in the 6 months he's played, and also from what I've seen from him at international level, he's clearly a good level defender. Is he, if he was to start every week, is he a Champions League level defender? Is he a defender good enough for that level consistently to be like one of the good defenders at that level? I've got my doubts. I think he's more of a Europa League level defender, to be honest, than a Champions League level defender. That's what I've seen from him, to be honest. I think he's got a lot of work to do with his ability to play out the back. Very physical, really good in the air, but I think for me, I like him. But as I say, he's not one of the top centre-backs or anything like that in the league or anything. Maybe some consistent starts with maybe Van der Ven next to him. He can show a better side to him, and we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just basing what I've seen. Well. Yeah, and a different playing style. And I think Frank will suit him, actually. But I'm just basing it off what I've seen. I don't see him at the moment as a starting level Champions League defender. That's not what I've seen at the
moment. Simon Jones is reporting that Spurs are expected to formalise their interest in Jared Branthwaite next week, which is very interesting. And I'll kind of tie it in with the Ben Davies update as well, because he also says that Wrexham still want Ben Davies despite his contract being extended. Spurs may allow him to leave even after extending his contract, and it would likely take a modest fee to sign him. Spurs' willingness to let Davies leave could depend on whether they are successful in their attempts to sign Jared Branthwaite. I mean, first of all, Everton are going to drive a really hard bargain for someone like Jared Branthwaite, one of their own, just got new owners in. They're about to move into their new stadium this year. I mean, he's going to cost big money. Big
They already
money.
rejected 70 million, didn't they, last summer or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So I can see the Ben Davies thing. I can see him if a bid comes in. I can see us accepting it, but I just can't see us agreeing a fee with Everton for Branthwaite.
Yeah, no, I can't. But it is interesting. Look, if this is all true, it's gonna take on face value. It might just be speculation, but if it is true that we're looking at Branthwaite and we're only going to allow Davis to leave if we get him, then to me there should be no excuse for not signing someone in that position and allowing Davis to leave. If you know what I mean. If
Whether it be
that's
him or an Ndika or someone.
anyone, exactly, that's my point. Like we should be getting someone in that position. If we feel that we need an upgrade there, and we're looking at someone like Branthwaite, who we know would be a massive upgrade on Davis and a really good addition to our backline, then we should be doing it regardless of whether we get Branthwaite or not. I understand what it's saying, like if we somehow fail with all our targets and we have left with no one, we will have to keep Davis. And okay, fair enough, but I don't see that as an excuse. We should be getting someone in that position, and I think Davis should be moved on by the end of the window. That would be what the best course of action would be, in my opinion. That should be what an upgrade should be looking like if we're serious about next season. That, in my opinion.
The reality is, Sim, though, like, shouldn't that be the case regardless if Ben Davis goes or not? Because, like, how much is he realistically going to play first and foremost if we are going to go with that back four? And second of all, like, the guy's in his last year of his contract. He's doing his A badges. So, I mean, just having him around and, you know, he might want to just, you know, not be part of the coaching team, but kind of learn some coaching stuff on the ropes as well. So he might not even play. He might just be in and around for what he used to keep Ben Mee around for, essentially.
What as a I don't understand. So we're saying we're keeping Ben Davis around,
Like
not
a
to
learning role, like someone that's good to have behind the scenes. He's been here for a long time. He's you know, just his leadership skills behind the scenes, basically.
I mean, if Ben Davis is happy to do that and not play, then fine. But if we got a tough decision when it comes to squad size and things like that, then he should be he should realize that there's a good chance he might be left out.
I don't think he's under any illusions of what his future looks like at this football club, even with the extension of the year. I really don't.
Of course, he knows he's not number one, but I'm assuming if he's staying, he will expect to be under consideration for selection and not as part of the coaching staff. He's 32. He's not exactly. I'm all 30. Was he 33? I don't, unless he's ready to retire already. I don't like. Is he? Is that where he's at?
You know, I mean, I know we talked about Milan a few weeks ago, but this report is saying like Wrexham. So I mean, if he's going to be joining Wrexham and he's going to accept a deal for Wrexham, surely he's going to know where he stands at Tottenham.
Right. I don't understand. So you're saying we should keep him around regardless?
I'm not saying we should. I'm saying if we can't agree a deal for him to go somewhere else, that still shouldn't stop us going for a left centre back.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that completely. And I'm just saying that's the report. The report says that we're only going to let him go if we do get one in, but I agree. I think, well, the report says we're going to go for one first. So hopefully that Davis staying whatever doesn't change any of those plans.
But like I said, like I'm happy. I really like Ben Davies. He's been such a good servant for the club, and I think it should be just solely up to him whether he leaves or not. But regardless of that, we should still bring in a left centre back.
Agreed. I've got no problem with him staying, but I just don't want to. I don't want to come to the near the end of the window or whatever, and we haven't got a left centre back in, and we're saying, "Oh, we're waiting to sell Ben Davis before we get one in."
100%.
How many times have you been in those scenarios?
Mm-hmm.
Too often, and I just would rather not even have that risk. But look, I know Davis has been here a while, and I know he's a loyal servant and all that kind of stuff. And look, maybe he'll be a good coach here one day. But when it comes to playing in Champions League football and being at that level, it's too much of a drop off when he plays. It just is. I think at this stage of his career, unfortunately, look. He's 32, and it's not like it's any shame in that. It's just the reality, in my opinion. That's what we've seen. So if we can get a good fee for him, then I would let him go. But if he's happy to stay here, and with the acknowledgement that he might get very little game time. I mean, he played quite a bit last season, but obviously it was due to injury. But yeah, then fine, he can stay. It's fine.
Tyler Dibling, Paul O'Keefe says that Dibling is a target this summer. However, Southampton want absolute ridiculous money for him. He was banding around the fees of like 70 million plus. And
Yeah,
that's
which
just
is a joke.
that's just something that Spurs are just never going to do, he said.
No. Why would we? It's a ridiculous fee. He's worth 30 million, probably, at the high end, I would say. So if they're demanding anywhere near 70, we move on.
Yeah,
And even if it was 30, I would rather just go for a more established player anyway.
If I'm Dibling and like I've got the chance to play Premier League football again and go to a team like Tottenham or whoever it may be, not even Tottenham, just somewhere where I'm gonna, play a significant part of the season, Premier League football, potential Champions League, Europa League, whatever it may be, I'll be fuming at Southampton that are demanding 70 million because no one's ever going to pay that.
Yes, but on the flip side, he is 18. He's still very young. He's got loads of time on his side. There's no rush. Look at Grealish, right? He was very sought after in the Premier League. Went down to the Championship for 1 year with Villa, came back up, and then became a star. You know what I mean? So if I'm Dibling, yes, I wouldn't be happy if I'm desperate to leave, but no rush really. If he can show in the Championship how good he is, and then there'll be people after him. No doubt about it. So
True.
look, the guy's 18, so no need to panic.
Let's talk about Sonny. Santi Auna says that Son is amongst the players who have received an approach from Al Hilal's management in recent days. And Paul O'Keefe says that only if a serious bid came in for Son, Spurs would allow Son to decide whether he wants to leave or stay at the football club. And he was saying if like a 10-15 million bid came in, like Spurs would just reject that out of hand. It's only if a proper serious bid came in.
Yeah, and that makes sense because of all the stuff we talk about with Son when it comes to how much he brings to the club. Also, he's a captain. He's still got a lot to offer, in my opinion, as well. So it would have to take at least the very bare minimum 30 million to even consider it, I would say. So
I'd say more.
Look, at the end of the day, his age is his age. And I think when it comes to I think 30 million at the bare minimum, I would say. Would be something you'd look at, but yeah, I don't even think I would sell for 30 million, to be honest.
Exactly. It's like who you're going to get in 30 million who's like anywhere near the quality of Sonny, even at his age. I still think he's got so much more to give, and I think in a Frank system he could proper cook next season, and I think you might see a really last good season with Son, and some fans might even say, shall we extend that another year? Shall we try and extend that another year?
Wouldn't rule out.
But yeah, even
look, at the end of the day, he's only got a year left. That's the
Yeah.
truth. And he's 32.
If he is to go this summer, though, I guarantee you it ain't going to be till the latter stage of the window. That's for sure.
Agreed. Agreed. I don't think this one's going to be done early.
And last but not least, he spoke about Rodrigo Bentancur and the contract situation. He says Bentancur is still fully expected to sign that new deal as he's going into his last year of his contract.
Mm-hmm. Which we discussed earlier. And again, if he signs, I don't know what that leaves in terms of us signing more than maybe one raw midfielder. That's assuming Basuma leaves.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. I don't know if you saw there was this clip doing the rounds, him talking about how good Basuma is. So is he going to want to look at that as well and think, should we sell him? Should we maybe give him another year deal? Now, it's interesting is, again, if Ange was here, he would know these things, right? He would know, I want to maybe sell Basuma, maybe I want to, what he wants. But now we've got a fresh set of eyes on it. I think maybe there'll be different conversations to be had about who's leaving and who's not. And I think Bentancur, obviously, I think whether Andrew was here or not, I think Bentancur was going to stay. But now Ange left, I think you could argue heightens the chances of him leaving because he had a decent relationship and whether that affects it. But yeah, hopefully he signs a new deal. And I think we saw at the end of last season, there were signs of him getting back to his best and signs of him getting back to that form we saw pre-injury. I think he's a very, very good midfielder. I think he's also very good for how Frank wants to play as well, or what we've seen. So I would very much like to give him a new contract, 100%. But then we give him a contract. Let's say, assume we sell Basuma, we could bring in a defensive midfielder. I just don't see much more room. And maybe for someone to if Decky's got a very big injury, you could potentially bring in a number 10. But I don't see any more room for another just like box to box midfielder really, because you've got Sarr, Bergval, what's it called? You got Bentancur there. You got Madison there. You got Gray there, who Frank wanted. So where do we fit in another midfielder on top of a defensive midfielder?
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting you speak about the 10s, with Madison and Decky. Paul was saying on the podcast that even with those two players, he thinks Spurs are going to go look to bring in another attacking midfielder. He doesn't feel that those two players are enough to fill the role in all competitions for the whole season.
Yeah, especially if Decky's got a long injury.
And Madison's injury record as well.
And then Madison's injury record. So, yeah, I wouldn't be against that 100%.
Yeah, so that's all we have for you for today's update. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And it's time to bring on our guest. I wonder
did you want to... Was there one thing here? You wanted to look at Basuma's...
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. This is the message. Well, we'll bring Brian on and we'll look at it. But I just gave the jig up.
You gave the game away. Shocking.
Here we go.
Here he is.
How are we doing, brothers? How are we doing, everyone in the chat? This is becoming a regular nightly thing, and I'm loving it.
It's good,
Loving it.
Damn right.
Talk to me, Brian. Any thoughts of any of the news stories we just brought?
I've been listening. Well, first of all, I mean, the Thomas, just to get back on Frank, I still don't understand a lot of the people playing him down. I'm really struggling. I get the Brentford. He's only at Brentford. It's what can he do? It's what Pochettino. This guy comes in, and he is a phenomenal coach, which is what we all wanted. A phenomenal coach. And then I see a lot of people going, "Oh, it's the perfect thing for Levy because he works within a budget. It's cheap." That's what he hasn't worked. He's had to work within a budget. He has had to do this.
That's not a criticism.
No, not from you, Simon. No, there's a lot of fans out there going, "Oh, this is another Levy yes man. We're only going to buy." He's going to say yes to cheap players and young players. It's to be another crash. It's not the case. He hasn't had the opportunity to get better players in or do such things. He's going to be a very, very good coach. He honestly, I've been joking about to people saying that once he's confirmed, I've got to go check myself into rehab again because I am a full-blown Frankaholic. I am basically I've confirmed myself. I am going to be the Simeon of Frank. So people are going to have to get through me for Thomas Frank. I honestly am so excited about this and him.
You're going to set your alarm clock as the Thomas the Tank Engine song.
But no, I keep doing it. I'm doing it from remember the group Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing Frankie Goes to Tottenham. So it might be relaxed. Maybe relax isn't the greatest alarm clock music to wake up to, but yeah, I'm all for it. I might change it to Thomas the Tank Engine. Who knows? There you go, Sim. I might do that.
I actually listened to that theme tune today just to see if I can work out any sort of song towards the theme tune.
I will say, if anyone's yeah, you are the song master. I've been with you, and you've seen a tune, and within 2 minutes you've got a song. So I'm going to leave that part to you. But I was listening to the one, obviously, Eze. It's the same noise, isn't it? It's the same noise every year. We all know how much we would love him and how much he would fit Spurs. But it's the same news every time, isn't it? It's the same news.
Brian, let me ask you this: if you could only pick one of the players, who would you pick? And Bueno or Eze?
Do you know what? I'm an Eze man all day. I'm an Eze man all day long. But when you look at him coming in, Mbeumo knows this guy inside out, doesn't he? He literally, and you see it. But I think we had the discussion yesterday, didn't we? If Eze comes in, where does he play? Or you'd understand it in an Ange team. You wouldn't. It's harder to put it into a Frank team. Eze, I think, is the better player by far, or not by far. That's a bit of a. But I think Mbeumo would be the one because obviously he's worked with him and he will know exactly what to do in that position.
I just think we need him more, don't we? We need Mbeumo more than we need Eze,
Yeah.
I think.
Again, I watched another video. Was it last night? It was last night. Which I shared with you guys, and I put the link in the chat like earlier, and it shows how potent and how well Frank's team are in attack. You may not realise it, but it goes on about how he wants to get the way they describe it, he likes to create bigger chances, which with the way he passes it around, he wants the striker to be central, have the most part of the goal to go in, and Mbeumo's movement is critical to it. And obviously Wissa on the other side, or Shade, I think he comes in and would settle in a lot quicker than Eze would.
Brian, do you think, like what I was saying before, like Frank's obviously known for getting the best out of his players, isn't he? He's known for overperforming the wage budget. And coming to Tottenham, like there's a lot of players that we have preconceived notions about, like Basuma, Richarlison, about like these players we want to move on, kind of thing. Do you think he's going to need to have a really good look at the squad, like in pre-season, before making real big decisions about who he wants to let go? Like I get a feeling we're not going to do much business before that pre-season.
I think, well, hopefully, do you know what I really hope, Simeon, is this time we focus on bringing the incomings and then getting rid of the outgoings. If there's certain players that he knows he definitely wants, how many times have we seen it? Like the Gedson Fernandez, when we had to move Ericsson on, and then whatever comes on, we were always trying to get rid of the star, get the money, then bring in the replacement. I think if we're going to have a wholesale change, that might be something we need to do. So obviously he's got the players he wants, and then he can overview the players he doesn't. And Joe, talking about that, there is one story I wanted to actually talk about with you guys. I heard you obviously mention Ben Davies. The contract extension has caused a lot of, he's not good enough, he's not. I think it's fairly obvious that he's not going to play loads of games anymore. He can't do it, even in a Frank system. But again, I think a lot of people are having their thoughts on Frank based on what he's done at Brentford, but just looking at the football, not listening to the man and what he does. If you go and watch the High Performance podcast he did, I don't know if you two have watched it. At a point with it, he's asked to talk about certain players. He's in the dressing room. They go, pick 3 or 4 of the players to talk about. And he picked the captain, Norgard, Wissa. And then he spoke about Ben Mee. And I'm just linking Ben Mee because of Ben Davies. And he said, Ben Mee is an integral part of my team. He may not play as many games. He may not be a first team regular. He isn't happy about that. But what I do is, he said he is absolutely pivotal in that dressing room. He is like one of the leaders of the dressing room when it comes to nurturing the youngsters, when it comes to doing the tactics for the game before. When he was talking about his tactics for the game before, let's say Friday before a Sunday game, he obviously, one of the things he does is he plays a match like you're playing the opposition. And he tells every single player on the, let's just say the one he's talking about is when Brentford played Everton, he used Ben Mee to be the who's his partner, Tarkowski, and he said, right, I want you. He is Ben Davies. I think is here to do his coaching badges and to be that focal point for Thomas Frank. Because when Thomas Frank comes in, as you were saying, Ben, Sim, he needs to know that dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to know that dressing room. And I think Ben Davies is basically the equivalent of Ben Mee. I don't see Ben Davies playing.
Why I would give a little bit of pushback on that is it's one thing Ben Mee, who's got a lot of Premier League experience, played for Burnley for many, many years, kind of being that kind of guy for a team like Brentford, who obviously didn't have much experience playing in the Premier League. And then he obviously has like that know-how. Ben Davies has never really been one of the leaders in the dressing room at Tottenham. That's never really been one of his roles.
Experienced, maybe not leader. Maybe leadership was the wrong word for me to use, Ben. But the experienced ones, and coming in, he's going to need that. I don't see Ben Davies playing a lot at all. I think his playing days are going to be very few and far between. Probably Carabao Cup. Will be.
The only issue I just have is we're very limited with squad space with in Europe, especially. And look, if he's happy to be left out of the Europe squad, then fine. But if he's expecting to be in it, then there might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen Leighton put in the tune for the tune of 80 grand a week. It's a very, very expensive. You're not really going to play, and I get that part. That's the only way. That's me in turn. I'm not saying that's what Ben Davies is there to do. That's how, from everything I'm watching on Thomas Frank, I liken what Ben Davies could be doing would be more like the Ben Mee kind of thing. But Leighton is right. 80 grand a week for doing that. Nice work if you can get it, isn't it?
Yeah, but Brian, he's not going to get 80 grand anywhere he goes. So, like, would he not try and just keep on to that for one more year anyway?
That's true. It's true.
Regardless if he's in the Champions League squad or not.
Unless he goes to Milan.
Unless he goes, even at Milan, is he getting 80 grand a week?
Probably, if he's signing him for a cheap fee.
I don't know, like maybe.
Well, the thing is, we're all going to find out, aren't we? We're all going to find out. When you talk about the squad, maybe Ben Davies doesn't really demand that much for transfer fee, does he? And depending on the budget, it might be right. I might be able to get more from X, Y, and Z to put towards what I want. So I think we'll find out once he's settled in what the plans are. But obviously, Ben Davies is here for another year.
I just don't want to be sitting here at the end of the window and Davies is one of 4 centre backs that is, we're going to be relying on.
No, that I agree with. We need another centre back, left centre back.
I just can't see that being the case. I mean, I can because it's Tottenham. But
literally was the beginning of this season.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season it was, but for next season, I just don't think it will be. I do think I don't think he'll be here next season. To be honest, I think we will get him out the door. I think we'll sell him, but like I said, I'll be happy to see him around next season. And we all know, like, for him doing his coaching badges, is that he wants to be a coach here.
Yeah,
not here, but he wants to be a coach in general. So such an invaluable experience to be in and around it and be close to it all the time. And I think if he's going to be at Spurs, he's not going to be playing all the time, and he's going to be, I think he'll do a good job nurturing some youngsters as well and helping out on that side.
Yeah, I agree. I keep forgetting the links today with Ndika. Is he left or is he right-sided defender? I can't remember. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, if an Ndika came in, that's different, isn't it?
It's music to my ears as well, because usually all the defenders that we're linked to are all right-sided, and now the last two, Ndika and Branthwaite, both left-sided. So hopefully that's a sign of something to come. And
we could have had him for free a couple of years ago, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think, didn't we go in for him and he rejected us? Or I can't
he went to Roma
instead.
He went to Roma instead, but we were heavily in for him. But he chose. I mean, obviously, we don't know how far down the line he went, but he would be a colossus defender. He's powerful like Danso, isn't he? Would have some real proper units and strength in there.
Very aggressive. Picks up a lot of yellow cards.
Oh, just like a right-sided centre-back we have. Oh, no, actually, I have to say Romero was a lot better this season, wasn't he? He gets labelled with that because you just assume it, but his discipline was incredible this year.
And it has been for the last couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not even just this year. I mean, he's got this kind of narrative about him, about always giving away penalties and picking up red cards, but he doesn't.
Who's that?
Romero, he still hasn't come out about Postecoglou yet, has he?
No.
He still hasn't done
He's pretty much the last one.
Talking about that, let's look at this Bissouma, because Bissouma's come out this evening.
Yeah.
About Postecoglou. Let's have a look at that. And so a long one, and he says, "I even don't know where and how to start. I got a lot to said about how good you are as a human, but I just want to say thank you for everything from day one to the last one. You did a lot in my life, on and off the pitch. I'll never forget the energy you shared with us. Your mindset made us European champions and legends of this wonderful club. Today you leave like a great and it will remain forever engraved in the history of this club. Thank you for everything, boss. And thank you to all the staff for everything you've done for me on and off the pitch. You believed in me, pushed me, and helped me become better every day. I'll always be grateful. Wishing you nothing but success in your next chapter.
If you go on Ali Gold's Twitter, he Basuma edited the message and he added a little bit at the end. There's a little change to the message, which look, a nice little. I do wonder what he's referring to. Go down. No, down one. There you go. So right at the end, just right at the end.
I'll always remember the last conversation we had. That's changed a lot of things. Thanks. #Big Ange.
So that's changed a lot of things. I wonder what he means by that. But does that mean his mentality? Is that I wonder what he means by it's changed a lot of things. But obviously, we know he had an uptick in performance later in the season. And obviously, he was the one leading the Postecoglou chants, wasn't he, at the parade?
He's always spoken about him as like a father, uncle kind of figure, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He also, if you look at it, how he started the season with the obviously really bad start and obviously the balloon thing, and ended it with a man of the match performance, in my opinion, man of the match in the Europa League final. Night and day.
What are the chances do we think that Frank might want to keep him?
I mean, there is a chance, but I don't know. I just feel like it could be a club decision to sell him. 1 year left. Are we gonna offer him a new deal with everything that's gone on with him? I don't know.
What if Frank says I want to keep him?
What if Frank says he wants to keep him? That's another conversation.
Yeah.
You talk about Frank saying, talking about Basuma. He's spoken about Richarlison as well, apparently saying how good of a player Richarlison is. Are we going to keep Richarlison? I don't know. Like I just feel like we're going to want to upgrade on these players.
We as fans will. Will Frank feel the need to? It's another question.
Well, I think with Richarlison, like you guys, but like everyone says, it's not down his footballing ability, is it? Because when he is playing, he highly contributes. It's getting him on the pitch. That's I think for me the big. If we had a fit Richarlison that gave you, let's say, 30 games a season plus, and across all, then I don't think you sell him. But you just can't guarantee it with him, can you?
Yeah, but I mean, Brian, if I gave you the choice of João Pedro or Richarlison, surely you're taking João Pedro.
Yeah, I am. Age, fitness. I mean, if João Pedro's had the odd injury, hasn't he? But
no one near like Richarlison.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't actually know when you were saying it. So I didn't even realize João Pedro was still only 23.
Yeah, he's young. He's been
very
around. It feels like he's been around for a while, doesn't it?
Yep.
But he's young.
He must have been in that Watford team when he was like 19.
Yeah, he's very young when he was in that Watford team.
So I'm just checking the chat. The same mod. So I don't know what's happening.
Breaking Arsenal.
Mod, Brian.
I know. I'm trying to multitask here. Let's see what I can do. Okay, wait a minute. It's Harry Butler spamming. Okay, he's going. 1 second, people. We'll get back to our normal activity in a second. I'm going to have to negotiate my contract with you two. It's that time of the.
You keep saying that. You never come to the table.
No, you keep telling me it's a lifetime contract, and I'm locked in for life. So I'm having my legal department look through it.
Do we think Romero hasn't said anything because maybe he just feels like if he says something, he might say something he regrets, kind of thing?
Do you know what? I actually think he's in a rock and a hard place, isn't he? Kind of like people were saying with the decision on Ange. People have heard that if Ange goes, he's going to want out. And obviously, whether he decides he is out or not, he doesn't want to betray or anger Ange Postecoglou. But yeah, put it this way: if it had been me and I was Christian Romero, I would have probably, as you know, Simeon, and you say always, my heart and my head of two very, very different Brians, and my heart probably would have taken over.
Who's left to not say anything? Pretty much everyone has.
Bentancur, Kulusevski.
Those three, yeah, Bentancur, Kulusevski. That's a mad amount of players who've actually made a statement compared
I've
to when
never
most
seen
managers
something
get
like
sacked.
this when a manager's left. I've never ever seen it. But then again, a manager's never bloody left 2 weeks after winning a European trophy. So
Only at Tottenham. Only at Tottenham. But yeah, this is the thing we do have to. When it comes to this is why Frank. It is massive, isn't it? Because, like you said, I've never seen. I don't think any of us would have seen a manager with such solidarity after a sacking. You hear from the odd player, don't you? The captain and a couple of the outpour of thanks and gratitude. It's been really, really telling.
One player, interestingly, we haven't heard from is Jed Spence.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Spence.
Yeah, Spence, yeah. That's maybe one which a lot of people think they didn't have a great relationship. I don't know, who knows, but maybe that speaks volumes that we haven't heard anything from him.
Oh, the other thing I was talking about, I'm sure I heard you. Did you talk about when Paul O'Keefe said that Levy didn't want Ange? It was Munn that brought him in.
I didn't hear that. Did he say that?
Yeah, he said it in the beginning of the stream.
It's on the aggregators. Apparently, Levy had said he wasn't the one that was giving the green light to Ange. It was Scott Munn.
Which is why Scott Munn's getting fired.
Yeah, just like Hitchin with I Hate the January Window.
It's interesting because, so Levy, in theory, 2 years ago, takes a step back from footballing decisions. He allows Scott Munn to make the decision to hire Ange. Levy apparently needed convincing. Then the guy that Munn appoints ends up breaking the 17-year trophy drought we're all desperate to break, and then he's getting sacked over it, and the manager he hires gets sacked. So, if you're Munn, how do you feel about that? It's do you feel fair, we finished 17th, it's been a mess, or what do you mean? We broke the duck. Why are you sacking me?
It's a good point, actually. It's a very, very good point.
It's just such a strange one, isn't it? Because it's whether you're for sacking Ange or against sacking Ange, there's just such good arguments for both sides. And when you're within the club and you're Daniel Levy and you're seeing the form, what it's been throughout the whole year, yes, obviously, you keep mentioning over the course of the year, every day, that there's context towards it, but it's 22 losses and you're finishing 17th in the league, something that we've never seen before. And yes, at the end of it, we win a trophy 100%, but it's just something that people can't look past. And that's what the decisions have been based on. So it's caused this whole bloody culling at the club. And that's what it's all on, the 22 losses. I mean, the trophy winners only bought him 2 more weeks and that's about it.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying Scott Munn's been fired because he hired the manager who won us a European trophy.
But he also hired the manager that had 22 losses and finished 17th.
Yeah. And also, you look at it the other way, Levy went off and said he was going to leave footballing decisions to other people, and he put it on the hands of someone that isn't a footballing person. So there's that.
He also said, by the way, Paul O'Keefe, that he doesn't think Fabio can currently be employed.
Yeah. But I believe that's until July the 1st or something, isn't it?
Well, until this court proceeding's been dealt with.
I have to say to you, just going off track a bit, I've just seen a wonderful comment based on your Thomas the Tank Engine thing. Look at Wibbers 01. They've highlighted you. There you go. That's a challenge for you, Ben.
Ben, you've got a kid. Maybe try writing some new Spurs chants to all the Disney tunes. Who'd you choose for Let It Go?
Daniel Levy.
Vicario.
I see. Honestly, Withers, you give Ben a tune, and that didn't even take 30 seconds. He is very, very good at this. We won
with the actual words to it after Vicario.
We literally, Ben and I came back from losing 4-2 to Manchester City, and we spent about 2.5 hours of the journey home just making songs up about Lloris.
Yeah, Lloris made a clanger that game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. he did.
Let's get into some of these super chats. Seba says, "Is Javi Simons a shout for the 10?" I mean,
absolutely, if we can get him, but it's a bit of a pipe dream, unfortunately.
Michael Hellman says Thomas Frank will get us a trophy this year.
Hope you're right. It'll be the first in his career.
Do you know what? But we know it's Frank, but going into this season, had it been Ange or had it whoever it would have been, realistically, what would your expectations been for the upcoming season?
Get back into that top 6 conversation and have a real good go at one of the domestic cups, which I guess is the kind of goal in every season lately. But yeah, that would have been the aim, I think.
I'm still looking at top 8 in the Champions League as well. I know it's going to be difficult, but if Villa can do it, there's no reason why we can't do it.
I've said get into the top 8 in the league.
And a Champions League. Oh, top 8 in the chamber. Yeah, okay.
I'm looking. I've said 8th. I've gone 8th in the league, or 8th minimum, should I say? Out of the group stage of the Champions League, I want the FA Cup badly. So win the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup might be that one, because we're all saying how's he going to challenge?
Wait, Brian, you're saying out the group. That means finishing in the bottom 12. Finishing in the bottom 12.
No, getting it out of the group stage.
Getting out of the group stages.
Getting out of the group stages. Getting out of the group stages.
So you must exit the Champions League.
Yeah, you must through the Champions League, Carabao Cup. Let's go domestic.
Can we also how harshly do we judge Frank if he does do that? Like exit the group stages of the Champions, like he gets knocked out in the bottom 12.
I think it all also very much depends what the draw is. If we've got a really difficult draw, then he might be on a bit of a hiding to nothing. But no, I think he has to progress into the next round. Like, what is it, top 24?
Yeah,
you got to progress.
He'll be judged very harshly on that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I wouldn't sack him just for exiting out the group stage of the Champions League, depending on how everything else goes. But it'll definitely be a block.
Look, I think at the moment, Brian saying top 8, right? And top 8, win a cup or not win a cup?
FA.
Win it.
Win the FA.
So what if he gets top 8, no trophies, and is out of the Champions League group stage?
Then he's had his first season. He's had his first ever season dealing with 4 cup competitions.
So you'd allow him that. You'd allow him that grace,
mate. I've told you, I am going to be the Simeon to Thomas Frank. I hated turning on a manager. I will not.
You've never heard Brian speak about context ever so much before in your life.
I'm Simeon. I'm going to need your little black book with all your categories.
I'll give you all the arguments, Brian. I'll give you all the arguments. Don't you worry. I've got them all lined up here.
But yeah, I think obviously first season he's got to have it all to see what he can do, and then we all said that he needs 4 windows, didn't we, Ange? Well, that was what they're saying. He's got to get out of the old. Thankfully, due to the work Ange and Spurs have done over the last couple of years, a lot of the surplus to requirements, as in the big wages, has gone. So that has been good work by the club and managers to get it done. Frank does come in with a team in a lot better place, I think, than Ange inherited. Because a lot of people said, well, he lost Kane. To me, I never will say Ange Postecoglou lost Kane. He never had Kane. He had Kane for pre-season, knowing he was off.
Spurs had Kane.
So, yeah, but Ange Postecoglou never really got a chance with him, apart from the friendly before he left.
Yeah, but he inherited a club.
A Kane-less Tottenham.
All right, maybe that's right. But I think Frank is good. Like I said, I'll stand by it. Frank is going to turn heads. And I got into a few discussions with people on Twitter today. And they're like, I've bookmarked this because I'm going to come back. I've come back to you today. I'm going to come back to you when this all goes wrong. And I'm like, okay, bookmark it. But when it goes right, I hope you use that bookmark to come back and say, do you know what? I was wrong. And he goes, oh, yeah, you will. I will. And I was like, don't worry, I'll bookmark this as well so I can come back to you. we got to get behind this man. He's coming in. He is exactly what we need. Exactly what we need.
I agree with that in terms of what the club requires. He's kind of the perfect fit in terms of fitting into the how we run the club. I think it just would be more perfect if we had no Europe, so he can really have the time on the training ground. But look, is what it is. We do have Europe, but I agree. He is what we need. He's the kind of manager we need. I agree with that. I was going to say something. I can't remember what I was going to say now. No, I'll move on. I can't remember.
Moose City, big up to you, Moose, says, give me your 3 to 4 signings for Frank and your 2 to 3 outgoings. So, I mean, number one's got to be an Mbeumo, surely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Paulinho.
Mbeumo.
Can Ndika go? Is Ndika just a straightforward centre back, or can he go?
No, just centre back, I think.
Or Lukeba, Hincapié.
The other one.
How realistic are we going?
I don't think
the unrealistic one. Hincapié would be amazing.
We're not getting Hincapié.
No, but the one I do love, I mentioned it with you guys yesterday, but I don't think he'd come to us for anything less than guaranteed first team football. Is Robinson from Fulham.
Brilliant player.
Yeah, I think he's incredible and really will give Destiny that push and obviously backup and flexibility to rotate in Europe and everything. So yeah, Mbeumo, Paulinho, and Robinson would be my 3.
Mbeumo,
that'd be a cracking window, wouldn't it?
That'd be good.
Does that leave us a bit short at left centre back though?
Yeah.
I think we need a centre back that can play left back.
Liam Aiton,
maybe Van der Ven can be that role.
Yeah,
I like the Vertonghen. Could be.
It's true, he can. But then, can Van der Ven play left wing back?
If you're playing a back 3, why not? Yeah, I don't know. If we're looking under Frank to get back in that top 6, who do we think are the ones really at risk of dropping out? We can target like Villa and Newcastle, I'm guessing, but
Forest isn't there?
Forest is 7th, aren't they? In the end,
yeah. That's a good point. You said top 6. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Who were the top? So the top 6 were Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, could they drop out?
We got to be looking at Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa for sure.
Just those 3.
Yeah, we're not finishing above City, Arsenal, Liverpool next season. I'll tell you that.
No. That's the long and short of it, isn't it?
Is it that unrealistic to think we could finish above 2 of those? Maybe. They weren't looking at for the moment.
I mean, if he really clicks and he clicks like from the off, there's no reason why we can't give it a good go.
I think the only way you can really evaluate it is the day after the window shuts, isn't it?
I think Villa, we should be really looking at them as one who could be really badly at risk next season, I think.
Well, especially with their FFP standing.
That's what I'm saying. If they need to sell players, I think that could be something we should be looking at them for sure.
You just never know how a season can go, you know. You never know who's going to drop off, who's going to improve, you know.
And also last time Newcastle in the Champions League, it really affected them.
Yeah. I have to see who Newcastle signed because apparently they've been hamstrung by PSR all these years, and this year they can actually sign players. So it'll be interesting to see what Newcastle do this summer. If they do sign really well, then I expect them to get better from last season, obviously. Chelsea, you just never know what Chelsea are going to turn up. That's the thing.
Is it going to be second season syndrome?
Like Maresca could be gone by November, or maybe he's going to build on it. You never know.
Exactly. So you just never know how a season can pan out. You just need to concentrate on yourself, be consistent throughout the season, and if you're good enough, hopefully you'll get in one of those spots.
Oh yeah, we forgot. What were the 2 players you'd let go of in Moose City's?
Who am I letting go of? I'm letting go of probably Richarlison, Bissouma.
Can you count Tell in this?
Probably
No.
not. You never
Gonna
said
make
we're
it
going to sign
difficult for
him.
you. Gonna make it difficult for you, Brian. No.
Oh, that's why I was asking Ben, not you, Simeon. I was hoping for
I guess
um,
Davis would be the other guy. Look, as I'm saying, there's not many. Solomon, maybe.
there's a shout.
Solomon. You can't count Solomon.
No.
No.
Well, he's a Tottenham player.
Yeah, but he wasn't in our squad last year.
No, that's not the question. It's a sale.
Mm.
Richarlison, yes, definitely. It's a tough. I think I might be with you, Ben. I think I might be with you because I can't think of anyone. Definitely not someone from the back line.
It's just them. It's just them. Got to remember, like Timo won't be here next season. That's an extra place in the squad.
Dragoshin?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we'll get rid of him as well.
No, I want to keep Dragoshin now. Frank's here.
Back three.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Back three. I think he could do very, very well.
exactly. So I don't think there's a need to move Dragoshin off. Next one, go on. You want to say
I was
something?
just about to say with that, the one thing with Dragoshin as well, if you're looking at selling this window, I don't think you're going to be able to sell, like, he's not fully fit or anything yet, will he? So I don't see a lot of people coming in for him. So we're being realistic and thinking who could possibly make the move. I don't think you could count Dragoshin in this window.
This is a problem I think we have. This is like we're going through it, right? And we're not really saying a major clear out, are we? So how can we expect loads of signings?
We don't need a major clear out.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't think it's going to be a massive summer.
But you're saying Werner's gone out the door, right?
Yep.
So that's one player that we can.
Well, he was already out the Europe squad
in the second half season. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. So who was in? Are we just looking at the European squad?
Well, that's going to be. We're not going to have a totally different squad in both competitions, are we?
Kinski's got to be added into that European squad.
Yeah, immediately.
And currently, with Whiteman being released, we only have a squad of 21.
Yeah. Doesn't make for good. I don't know how they're going to get over this squad issue this year.
I can see another one of your pre-recorded videos this week being that exact content.
They just about got away with it last year, I feel.
I don't know what they're going to do because, in terms of club trained, who do we actually have?
Okay, I think Kyle Walker-Peters is definitely coming in, isn't he?
It's
No,
Austin.
I'm talking about the players that we've actually got.
Austin.
We've got Austin, and that's it. Who else do we have?
Who was it last year? Was it just Austin and Whiteman?
Austin, Whiteman.
If Donnelly stays,
There was one more, wasn't there?
I thought it was. Yeah, was there not one more?
Scarlett.
Dane Scarlett.
No, he was in the B list.
Who was the other one?
Well, Lancashire, Lancashire was there before. West Brom,
I
wasn't
think
he?
Moore was Moore not in the B list.
Moore was in the B list.
I think it was those two. Well, we had a squad of 22. No, sorry, 20, 22.
So if we only got one club trained player, that's an absolute joke.
Did Davis count? No.
Don't think so. Yeah,
Who was it? Yeah, I think it was just Boston and Whiteman, to be honest.
Which is mad.
Because we
You
didn't
sure
know.
Scarlett was in the B list?
Well, he was on loan for the first half of the season. I'm pretty sure he was in the B list, yeah. Do you mean we let go of someone, didn't we, who would have been club trained? Who did we let go of at the beginning of the season?
Who did we let go of?
We let go of someone at the beginning of the season who would have been club trained.
Sunsop Bell.
No.
No, not Sop.
Mate, why are you laughing?
That's it. Ollie Skip.
Oh, you meant first team. Okay.
Yeah. Ollie Skip would have been club trained. We let him go.
Yeah.
Shrunk our numbers.
But Sunsop Bell did go, sir.
Tassar and Destiny.
Sop Bell did go, yeah, Brian.
Thank you. See, why's that funny? I was thinking Milano or something. I came back and
it's a rogue shout. I don't think Tassar and Destiny count. I don't think for some reason
No,
I don't think they do.
They don't. I looked into it. They don't.
So we have at the moment a squad of 21.
Yeah.
How many players do we currently have in the squad?
So at the moment, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to count Tell. 8. Archie Gray will be in the B list.
No, you won't, because he has to be at the club for more than 3 years, I think.
Shit.
Or 2 years. I think 2 years, maybe.
Well, this will be his second year, and Bergval's second year. So Bergval and Archie both count, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Fuck, what about Scarlett? Scarlett going to be B list next season?
How old is he? 20. I think he's still B list.
He'll be 21, I think, next season.
Depending on when he. No, I think that's still B list.
Dane Scarlett is. Let's have a look. Dane Scarlett. He is 21 years old. He'll be 20. He'll be 25 next year. Sorry, 22 next year. His birthday was the 24th of March. That's why I said 25.
I have to read the rules again.
I'm just trying to remember. There's Alfie.
Anyway, Scarlett ain't going to be part of the squad next season.
3. We got 23, excluding Tell.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 have to go.
And
Well,
I
two
haven't
have to go
included,
just to have
I haven't included Manor, Ashley Phillips.
Vuskovic would have to be added, I think.
What about Alfie and Jamie?
They could be B list.
Okay.
As long as your Alfie Devine is
Mate, I'll tell you what, there's one thing that could turn me on Frank. If he's the guy and he says, no, Alfie, you're not for me, and sells him, me and him are going to have our first domestic. But we strike one. If he gets...
I actually think Devine could do well under Frank, man.
Who can't do under Frank?
No one. That's how good he is. No one.
I don't know. I worry about someone like Odebear.
Do you know what? Thomas Frank could be Werner back to his glories. That's how good he is.
Frank's going to re-sign Werner.
Could you imagine?
So Tottenham need to sell 2 players just to have the level, just to be to have the squad.
Yeah,
that's without signing anyone.
Yeah,
he's going to have a big job, Thomas.
What are we going to do? Seriously, what are we going to do? It makes all these conversations about signings like a bit null and void.
Yeah, I know. There might have to be some tough decisions. So if we assume, this is what I'm talking about with Ben Davies. Like, we can't have him as part of this European squad. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't think he would be. Listen, there's talk.
Like, part of the European squad.
Okay, good. So don't have it, as long as he's okay with that.
I'm sure he won't cry.
So you sell Basuma and you sell Richarlison and you don't include Davis. That means you have room for one signing.
If Scarlett's 21, then he can be a club trained player.
Okay, it doesn't really help.
What,
unless you think Scarlett should be part of actually be used.
Scarlett is going to cook next season, mate.
Yeah, do you know what as well? And I've seen a couple of people say, not just in this, I think you were talking about as well, could the contract with Ben Davies just to be, say, hold some kind of value to sell?
Yeah, to sell could be.
Exactly what it is, yeah.
Oh, you reckon it's more that than keeping him within the coat? You reckon this is a complete, we're extending it so you're not walking out for nothing?
Brian, I heard from a very reliable source before Ange left that we had a deal with AC Milan. We were going to extend his contract, sell him to AC Milan, bring Tomori in. That all changed once Ange left.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that now seems sus, that story.
Why is that?
Because surely they knew Ange was leaving.
Who knows, mate? Who knows
just when you think you got rhyme and reason, you realise it's Tottenham, and you're like, yeah, Lord knows.
Maybe you don't include Decky for the first half of the season if his injury's that bad.
It's a very good point.
That
Yeah,
leaves
then what
room.
should we do second half of the season?
You push it down. You push that can down the road. You deal with that in January. Who else could we sell or not include? I don't know.
There's going to be some harsh decisions that need to be made. That's for
Let's
sure.
Bentancur. We just take a harsh decision and say we've got to sell him.
Well, there's rumours.
Or we sign Cole Walker Peters and he's the fullback.
Is there any other club trained players that we haven't thought about that we can sign?
Marcus Edwards.
He's just signed for Burnley.
Yep.
Yeah, he would jump the ship if we came in.
I still can't believe he ended up there.
Burnley are actually suffering from PSR, aren't they?
If we went in for Romain Mundle, someone says Romain Mundle.
Marcus Edwards going to do for us?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're not signing Marcus Edwards. Don't worry.
Romain Mundle actually had a really good season last year.
Re-sign Jaffe Tanganga.
You know what? That could be actually a shout. I think out of all of them, he's probably had the best season.
He has. And you know what? I love his song at Millwall. They got the best song for him. I mean, the Proclaimers Walk 5. Brilliant.
Madueke doesn't count, does he? If he did, we would 100% should be doing that.
Why don't we just sign Harry Kane?
There you go.
Get Kane back.
All our problems are solved.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
We just say Harry Kane, one last rodeo, one more project, man.
Just tell Harry, we need you for the club train numbers, please. Do us this one favour.
Not for your brilliant skills, not for your goals.
No, we need you for the
not to get your Premier League record. Homegrown problems an issue. Come back.
Can you come back? Forget Bayern and winning leagues and challenge for Champions Leagues. We need the numbers, mate. We need the club trade.
We're in the Champions League, mate.
Oh god. So basically, we're screwed next season. Oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, well. Moving on.
Deal with that. Frank can deal with that.
Real Nate says, do you think we'll re-sign Tell and could he work in a Frank system? I mean, judging by these club train numbers, I don't know if we can re-sign Tell.
Yeah.
I think he will work in a Frank system, to be fair.
I do. I think he's kind of more. I think Ange used him more as a winger, and I think Frank will use him more as a wide forward, and I think that's more his role, and I think that would really work.
Tell's profile isn't too dissimilar to Sade.
Yeah, he's very similar to Sade in that sense, I think.
Even
in Buemo's in a sense.
Yeah, I just can't see him coming. I can't. I think he'd probably say, I want 30. What was it meant to be haggling down to about 35 mil?
Yeah.
From the 50 that I think he's going to want that for himself. The players that he has had a look at and wants and knows from his setup. Like I said, the only time I saw him live, I was very impressed with his movement, which was the Wolves game with you. But yeah, I think if Ange had been here, it would have been done.
Radical 4, is there any chance someone like Gray might be okay with just not being included in the Champions League squad and only be playing Premier League games?
I don't know, but I think Frank really likes Gray and he'll probably want to use him.
Well, I'm saying he will use him, just only in the Premier League.
I don't know.
Be a big shout.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
That's if they don't send.
Is he ready for Champions League? I don't know if he's ready for it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I was about to say, even if Frank sends him out on loan, but then you remember that Frank really wanted him at Brentford. So of all the first teamers that potentially could go on loan to get more first team football, I don't think it'll be Archie Gray.
Let's go to Malware. He says, Morten Hulmeland, now we got a Danish coach. Yeah, but he's got an Arsenal tattoo, man. We can't have any of those in our squad, man.
No. He'll be a double agent.
100%.
No
Frank's
double
going to
agent.
beat Arsenal this season. You watch.
Every time people do these things, they always end up to be double agents. Poch going Chelsea. You got Rafa going to Everton. They're all double agents. I'm telling
100%. 100%. Malware as well says, Ange has set the tone, got us over the line. Now Frank, the fucking train, will make us a well-built oil machine. Choo choo! Come on, you Spurs.
I love the Joe. I love the quality of the super chats that you get on these late night ones. That is a banger.
Big up to you, Malware. Michael Hellman says, I don't see where Decky fits in the Frank system. We were saying that yesterday, weren't we, Sim?
Yeah, I think he's not quite the number 10 he likes compared to Maddison. Could he do the kind of Mbeumo role? Probably, but not as good as Mbeumo does it. I think he could do that role because he's a bit more central as well, but it's not as like his perfect role.
Enough, though?
He's a good enough ball carrier, I would say.
But he likes to attack with pace and speed, ferociousness.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't exactly know. Unless he turns into a number 8.
Yeah.
Then he would have a role, but it'll be difficult.
Anyway, we're not going to see him for a while, I don't think.
Yeah.
And Michael Hellman says Eze over Tell.
I agree with that.
That's a no-brainer.
I agree.
I don't think you'll find someone that will disagree with that.
Yeah, who's taking Tell over Eze right now?
I don't think. I mean, I think if you spoke to a lot of Spurs fans right away and said, "Right, one dream signing for you," with being realistic, not going saying like an Mbappe or something like that, I think a massive majority would say Eze.
I'm taking Mbeumo over Eze.
For Frank, like we said at the beginning, I would, because he'll settle in straight away there, wouldn't he?
Mbeumo, I think if I could only sign one player, one marquee signing this summer, Mbeumo would be my signing.
And it'd be one hell of an entrance, wouldn't it? That'd be. I mean, if you look at it, what was it? If we look at the last 3 managers, what were their very first signings for the club? Like very, very first.
Well, Poch was Davis.
There you go.
Whose was Jose's?
Was that not like Jedson Fernandez?
Was that his first?
Was outside in the January, wasn't it?
I'm trying to think. What year?
Bergwijn.
What year did Jose come in?
Bergwijn, yeah.
2019 he came.
Jose definitely was Bergwijn.
Yeah. Nuno Romero? No, Nuno was Gil.
Brian Hill.
Nuno. Conte was it Kulusevski or did we get someone in before Kulusevski and Bentancur?
Kind of signed together, didn't they?
Yeah, but was there one more signing before that at the beginning of the window? Was that just those two, I think?
Just those two.
And Postecoglou was Vicario?
Vicario, I want to say.
Yeah.
So if Mbeumo was Frank's first one, you would say he would have had the best first signing by a mile, wouldn't you?
For sure. Who was Harry's first signing? Does anyone remember Harry's first signing?
I think it was Palacios.
I want to say Palacios, yeah.
No, I think Palacios came.
No, Jermaine Defoe, maybe.
Season, yeah. Because he came the second season when we got Champions League.
They came in that same January. They came in January together.
So it definitely wasn't Palacios then, because Palacios came the season we got Champions League.
No, he came the season before.
Oh, the season before? No, okay, then he may have been his first one. He may have been.
What year did Harry join us? 08, 09?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in 08, 09...
I want to say Chimbonda.
It might have been like Kudachini, potentially.
Sam has said Chimbonda.
Chimbonda. Could have been Chimbonda. We had a mad January that January. We signed Keane, Defoe, Palacios, Kudachini.
We put the band back together. I'll tell you what, Sam just mentioned another. I loved Cranshaw. I loved Nico.
It says here it was, I don't know if it's in date order or what, but it says Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane did come in the January.
He did, yeah.
It's either, I don't know which way it is. It's either Robbie Keane or Kudachini. It's one of them two.
I don't think it was Robbie Keane and Palacios. I think Palacios made his debut before Robbie Keane, so I don't think it could have been him.
That summer was Kudachini, Chimbonda, Palacios, Defoe, Keane.
It was January,
yeah. It's mad as well. Like Robbie Keane was 28 when he came back, and he was pretty much done.
I know. It was so sad how finished he was so early.
Yeah.
So weird. I was always want to ask him about that.
There you go,
Okay.
Lord Rodney Trotter, the plonker, as I always call him. Palacios was the first one.
Mm.
It was Palacios. Wilson.
I loved him. What a player! What a
He came
player
in.
he was.
Well,
The thing
Wibbers
is
says that Defoe signed on the 6th of Jan. So what, Palacios signed before the 6th of Jan?
Well, we've got a bidding war here.
I'm going to put this to bed right now. We signed Palacios on the 21st of January.
So the winner is.
Jermaine Defoe.
There you go. There you go.
And why do we care about this?
Because it's nostalgia time. We're saying who are the first managers, the first signings for the managers, and then saying if when Buemo came as Franks, that will be a huge improvement on previous first signings.
What is that bold for anything? First?
It's just fun that you get Simeon Joe. I know you're in mourning at the moment, but it's light-hearted. It's humour, brother. It's humour.
I'm getting over it, Brian. Time's a great healer. Okay, it's happening. I'm just waiting for the announcement. I need to see Frank as the new figurehead. At the moment, it's still, Ange is still my guy.
KPV with a comment, another blockbuster. And he just says, when Ben and Henry Wright TV were doing the watch along for Spurs v Brentford in April 2022.
What happened then?
What happened?
Just when it happened, mate. Just remember.
I remember the time well.
And
on
his
this day
brother,
back in April.
KWP.
Big up KPV.
That is a very random one.
I want to know why he calls KWP his twin brother. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's a.
Because it's very near to his initials.
That's
KVP to KWP. Still, it's not a twin brother.
And it's KPV, not KVP.
That's KP. It's nothing the same, just K.
It's just similar-ish. If you kind of take it out of order and change one letter.
KPV says, yes, it is.
I knew that was it.
I love that man.
Another super chat says from Malware saying, I wonder if Sim sleeps with a picture of Ange with an Ange picture like the Wolverine meme, remembering the rock and roll football life. Do you do that, Sim?
I used to. Those days are over. Unfortunately. You have to move on. You love and you leave and you learn.
Danny Kiriakou says, get it right, Ben.
Get it right, Ben.
Danny Kiriakou got battered at paddle today.
Oh, did he? Did he? You said Daddy thinks I sleep with a picture of Thomas Frank. Not a picture, mate. I've got the pillow. He's on my pillow.
Who does Danny sleep with a picture with?
And Buemo.
I saw a great meme. That is, Danny says that is such lies. In the second game, it's not lies. In the first game, it was lie.
It's a half truth.
Yeah. We played 2 games. We played for ages today, man. I'm knackered.
Yeah, played for a good 2 hours. Good fun.
Anything else you want to touch on, guys?
Well, I can think of.
Any other business?
That's not fun, Daigle.
I can't listen. I'm too busy dreaming of Frank.
It's going to be good, man. Make
the Danish Revolution.
It is. It is going to be good times ahead. It is. And as I've said, Frank won't fail Tottenham. Tottenham and Levy would fail Frank.
Like they fail every other manager.
Correct.
Oh.
Ben's decided to drop out.
And it's just me and you. Just the two of us.
Just the
two of us.
That's all good. No, I can't. I was back. I enjoyed my promotion up to the top tier. I've got to put it from very good to
There
better.
you go.
That's better. That's better. See, I've got promoted,
Now you can look down on me, Brian.
mate. Always looking the same way when it comes to you two. There's no looking down. No looking down. But no, tomorrow. I think. What was it? Do you reckon it's going to get announced tomorrow? What if you're going to say a day of the week it's going to happen?
Frank
Tuesday.
Bingo.
I say Tuesday.
Yeah, let's do Frank Bingo. I'm going to go large. I'm going to go tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Dreams. I'm going to go big. I'm going to reach.
I got a feeling it's tomorrow as well.
I think we have to all three of us be live in the studio because things break. Breaking news when things go live in the studio.
You never know. Yeah, we can do that.
I think
That
Monday
was just
is
mental, wasn't it? On Friday,
mate, we're literally about to play bingo. I was like, let's play bingo. It was all going. It was like, all right, come on, then we'll do bingo. And
we
then
just finished another rant saying, "What is going on at this football club? We haven't heard a thing, not a peep."
it was just the most mental week. The first stream, what's going on at Tottenham? Second team, what the fuck is going on at Tottenham?
Yep. But I think
seriously, what the hell is going on at Tottenham?
I think tomorrow. Let's see if we can start the week Monday. Frank's announced. Friday, Levy announces he's stepping down.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Have you heard? Has been any kind of updates about the whole Levy rumours? We heard anything about that?
Paul O'Keefe kind of talked about it today. Did you hear what he was saying?
No, what did he say?
He's basically saying he's tired of talking about takeover talks and all this kind of stuff, and he doesn't think there's much in it.
Well, there is something. Someone broke today. Obviously, there was talk. I think Lee McQueen said the last word on Spurs. It's not coming from the Middle Eastern money. It's not coming from that region.
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Then there was something that went round, and the company's name or the where is it? Let me just. I'll send it to your WhatsApp because then you can put it on the. Where is it? The company, or can I share my screen on you? I should be able to, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
If I go on to one.
Careful, Ryan. Just be careful.
Yeah,
I know. I'm making sure. That's why I'm.
We don't know what you've been searching, Brian.
No. Oh boy. This is just slander. This is slander.
Just a naked picture of Frank.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? I'm never telling you a secret again, ever. Share screen. Here we go. 1 second. This broke. I don't know how realistic or how legit it is, but this has been named as the company.
Safe to share this?
Yeah,
Patronus.
So they're apparently they're with. This is the company that apparently have been in talks. They're oil and gas, but not from that. Say again. I don't know where this is where this. Don't worry about this account, but he's just
don't worry about the account. Don't worry about who's
no. What I'm saying is I don't know. It has been tweeted by other people. He hasn't put the reference on. It's not him breaking it. He's just taken the article or the details and just put it on his.
But from where?
So, that I don't know.
I want to know who posted it.
I got sent these tweets today. I'll share it one by one. So there's this one from Bergval is the king.
Okay.
Saying, understand there is indeed truth in the conversation behind the scenes around the potential takeover led by Amanda Stavely and a person or a group originating from Malaysia has been mentioned.
Okay. Anyone who's not a completely dodgy ITK?
No.
Okay.
With Daniel Levy leaving his post.
Although we did hear Malaysia early in the week, which is interesting.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying it's gathering pace.
We heard it. Someone DM'd us saying that they heard that Stavely and Malaysia was a thing. We heard that on Monday.
And this is someone else saying that if there's a jigsaw puzzle about this whole Petronas Malaysian 3 billion takeover, then this certainly was the first piece. And it says, in 2018, Vinay discussed a decision to establish Arsenal's Asia Pacific headquarters in Singapore, noting that Malaysia was considered as a potential location, was not chosen. He stated that launching the regional office in Malaysia or Hong Kong could be equally successful for Arsenal's brand, indicating some professional consideration of Malaysia as a business hub. And I don't know what that's got to do with Spurs having a Malaysian takeover.
I think it's just use Nick Vinay and his connection.
I don't think they get it for 3.08 billion though. The whole club.
And then there's this from Well On Side saying,
that's what I just brought up.
Oh, is that what you just brought up?
That's what I literally just brought up. Yeah, that's the one I.
But look at this. This is what this company is worth. Like, this is like crazy money. Look at that.
So their revenue last year was 73 billion.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We would have had worse days with that kind of money floating about, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Operating income 30 billion. Net income 17. Total assets 164. Not bad. Not bad.
I think it's because Malaysia. I think they're homing in on the companies there now, aren't they? And there could be
not quite a state, but it's getting there. Not quite the what is it? What is it the Saudis have in their fund?
Ridiculous.
It's called Unlimited. No, Danny just asked in the comments, are they the company that sponsor the Mercedes F1 team? Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Petronas is state sponsored. Okay, all right. And how much is in the Malaysian fund? What are we saying?
Owner, Government of Malaysia.
Oh, there you go. I should have read that.
It really, Joe, like we said, I think it really, whilst we're on the, I think it really is heating up this time. These dominoes aren't falling at board level. Convenient. There is something.
We have some Malaysian sponsors.
Don't know.
Yeah, who's that company that always on at half time doing the food stuff? Isn't that a Malaysian company?
Which about Cinch?
No, not Cinch.
Because Cinch was Turkish.
There's that guy who always does like making food with one of the players at half time.
Yeah, Danny's just mentioned the other thing. You look at it when you talk about Petronas as well.
AIA,
yeah, they're Malaysian, right?
Yeah, they are Malaysian. But then also, like Danny said, with the F1 ties, obviously the F1, what we've got at the stadium, I think the links are. I think people are joining dots together, but I think there is some weight behind it this time. Not saying it's Petronas, but I think takeover talks up for the first time ever. I think there's some genuine possibility. And I've wanted
about Donna Cullen on the podcast today. Did you hear that?
No, didn't hear when he was talking about Donna.
He said that Donna Cullen tried to leave like 2 years ago, and Daniel Levy convinced her to stay. Like she's been thinking to. He said that she's been on the brink of leaving for the last 2 years.
There you go.
I mean, we've been told, and people have been saying that she was pushed, and he said no, that wasn't the case. But I don't know. It depends who you believe, I guess.
All that matters is she's gone.
Yeah,
that's the most important part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But it would just be interesting because it would have been much better for this kind of stuff if she was pushed instead of her leaving on her own accord.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. What's another super chat from Gaz Footy Social Club? What are your thoughts on Thomas Frank's 3-5-2? Who would you play?
So with the current squad, right wing back Porro, left wing back Adoggy, Danso, Romero, Van der Ven. Who would the two centre mids be?
No, it's a 3-5-2. It's a 3 centre mids.
Oh, Bentancur, Bergval,
Maddison.
Madison. Yeah,
Then you got like Solanke and Son up front.
yeah. Decent side.
Yeah.
Bad.
And I think you'll see a lot more with Johnson up top as well. I think he'll be played a lot more central, like we were saying yesterday.
Yeah, I'd like to see Johnson and Solanke in the top two. I think that could
One
work.
thing Frank did very interesting with his 3-5-2 is he played Lewis Postecoglou, one of the wing backs, and he was signed as a winger.
Yeah, yeah. Does he have? What's his defensive capabilities like, Lewis Postecoglou?
I think he's improved a lot. But
Yeah. So, what wingers do you think could play at wing back for us?
Well,
we don't need it though. We don't need it.
What you've just said. Look, if you look at if like Simeon said about improving his defensive capabilities for Lewis Potter, that's all he really needs to do with Porro, doesn't it? Porro's got the forward part going. He just needs to work on the defensive side if there's a downside.
He's got better at it though.
He has, but I think under Frank, he's a player that you'll see his defensive work get a lot better. A lot better.
Frank described Porro as Trent-like qualities, he said.
Yeah. And he is.
100%, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Just he's like a B-Tech Porro, B-Tech Trent. Nowhere near as good.
I love Trent.
Still, like second best in terms of attacking output in the Premier League.
Would you? So we're doing the 3-5-2, and we obviously you said if the squad's there, if Romero has gone, obviously there is another defender we need in. Do you reckon that will be Ndika, or is there another defender, either A at the club or B?
Ndika won't replace Romero because Ndika's a left-sided. We would need another right-sided one.
So who would you go for, or who do you within the club?
I don't know if he just puts Dragoshin there.
But at the moment you can't, can you?
Well, he'll be back for the start of the season, won't he?
I think it's a little bit long. Is it start of the season or is it a little bit longer?
I mean, he was on the grass towards the back end of the season.
Then he could be back. So then there you go. It's a no-brainer. But he's going to need cover, isn't he?
Yeah. Is that cover come in the form of Phillips and Vuskovic, or I mean, I would like to say we sign another one.
Yeah, I would like to sign another one as well.
Honestly, I'd rather, if with Vuskovic and Phillips, I'd rather we keep hold of Phillips for the season and send Vuskovic out on championship loan or something. I think extremely highly of Ashley Phillips. Extremely.
They called Vuskovic up to the Croatian first team this month, and the coach was speaking about him, and they were asking him, "Are you going to give him a shot? Are you going to give him some minutes?" I don't know if he ended up doing it or not, and he said, "I haven't decided yet, but he's still got, he's going to be a great player for us, but he's still got a lot to develop on and a lot to learn." So I think just keep going up the levels with Vuskovic. I don't think they need to rush him into the first team next season.
I honestly think Phillips is a star in the making. I think we got hold of a real good one there.
And Phillips has had so much experience in the Championship. It's time for him to make the step up to the Premier League.
Because they loved him at Plymouth, didn't they? But like who was it just said it a minute ago? Matthew Stoke loved Phillips, didn't they?
They all do.
Yeah.
They all do. I think Phillips is really good. And maybe his ability on the ball that was very much needed in the Postecoglou system might not be as, it'll still be needed, but not as much in the Frank system.
Yeah. Good times.
But, Frank still likes to play out the back, so he's still going to need it.
This is a problem I have when we're talking about it. It's just not a problem I have with Frank. Is if Frank is so adaptable and he's so that's what he is. It's what are we even talking about when we're talking about a Frank system or a Frank this, a Frank that? If his whole thing is I adjust the system to what I have, right, and I make a system out of the players I got, then it's I feel like what's the point of even talking about would he fit into this or that? Because Frank adapts to the players, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's also true. And what he uses at Brentford doesn't mean he's going to use it at Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, as well, I will say there's a lot of people, and I'm bringing this up now because I can see the Hotspur hood in here. Big up to that. There's a lot of people that have watched. There's a lot of people that have watched the video. I think a lot more people start to do their research on Thomas Frank and watch the videos, the interviews, and podcasts. And I think they're taking a lot from it. Going, do you know what? The more and more I listen to this guy, the more and more I'm starting to warm to him. I think a lot more people or fans, if you haven't, there's a lot of good podcasts and interviews with him, talking about him, the man, as well as him, the footballer or football manager, should I say, coach. And it's really an eye opener. It really is.
I agree. And the interview that you last sent me, Brian, he was talking about, his teams. He wanted his teams to have a clear identity, being aggressive, pressing high out the front, playing out the back. It's not exactly something that he's famous for at Brentford.
But you saw the one as well where it shows how, or the one with James Alcott? Did I send it to you where he's showing about the attacking and how Brentford are always?
I've seen clips of that. I haven't seen the whole thing.
It's another great video. The style of football that he plays. Obviously, they're saying at one point they have the biggest conversion to goal rate in the Premier League, and he's done it his way by setting up the chances so clearly, and we have the players to do it.
I remember when Potter was manager of Brighton, he had the most XG or something per night. Like every game, he would win the XG battle.
Yeah,
and when he went to Chelsea, and
that's true. That's true when you look at it that way. I don't think I can't remember being as excited for a manager to come in. The managers that have come in, like Martin Jol, who's my favourite, obviously, he came in by default, didn't he? After Santini and everything.
You weren't excited about Conte?
Yes,
well, you got a tattoo over it.
Yeah, I still remember to this day when Conte when it fell through the first time, and you put a tweet out and you said live footage of Brian's house, and it was me someone trashing the room up. I was nuts then, but when Conte was rumoured again, I was like, yeah, not going to happen. When he came in, the main thing I was excited about was he won't take crap from Levy.
Mm-hmm.
It was more that side that I was excited about, because I knew, like Mourinho, he weren't going to get backed with this kind of players. But I am genuinely excited for what Thomas Frank's going to bring on the football side.
Unfortunately, gone.
You saw in that interview that you sent me, he's got a policy, a no dickheads policy.
Yep, I love it. I love it.
That'll be good at top. We don't really have dickheads, to be fair.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, do you reckon any of the players he'll think are dickheads and we'll want out?
I don't think we have many dickheads in our squad, to be fair. I think we've got a nice squad. I think they're all good guys.
So yeah, he mentioned that, and the way he believes the culture. He has four pillars,
Mourinho, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Mourinho only wanted dickheads.
Yeah. Beer, you know what you mean. Yeah, I'm not gonna use that word. Don't want to get demonetized, but you know the famous clip of Mourinho. And is that not a bit of a worry, in the sense that yes, it's good to build that squad harmony. I get it, but when you really want to be a winner, do you not need that nasty streak within the squad at some points?
I don't know if he means don't have that nasty streak on the pitch. I just think he's talking about dickheads in terms of attitude.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is.
But sometimes like Roy Keane was a dickhead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
he had that winning streak mentality.
Do you know
like players who aren't going to dig each other out, aren't going to hold each other accountable?
I don't think he's talking about players like that. I think he's talking about bad attitude players, bad eggs. Roy Keane wasn't a bad egg. He was captain.
I think he's talking more. I think he is talking more the Ndombele's kind of, those kind of. Or if I had to sum up the perfect no dickheads from a player that isn't Spurs, would be Jack Wilshere. That's a no dickhead policy of the highest order. He has got some Canadian blood in him, Thomas Frank, but that's got nothing to do with my love for the man.
Gaz Footy Social says Bissouma is the bad egg.
I don't know if he's a bad egg.
I think if you were to say players that have the tendencies to act out, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say in our squad. I don't think we have many.
Jose, do you reckon there's a player there that's there already?
Maybe Romero. I don't know. Maybe Romero. Don't know.
I was about to say, do you reckon there's someone that will stamp out the dickheads? But then Romero's here. It would be Romero, wouldn't it?
Can Madison be a bit of a dickhead? I don't know.
I mean, Romero does have a tendency to, like, not put his all in like the kind of smaller games, and I do think no manager should like that.
Just like I say, people should watch the videos. I will say, quick, if you go on to my channel, Tottenham on Tour, on the community section, I think it's called Post now. I put a post up with about 6 or 7. No, I think it's about 5 of the interviews with him. Some are like 20 minutes long, some are hour long. But if you do, and there's no obligation, obviously, but like Spurs, no obligation to buy. There's no obligation to watch. If you do want to know a little bit more about him, the links are there on my community post or Tottenham on Tour's community post.
You sound like one of those people knock on your door asking you to convert to Christianity. If you want to know more about this, Jehovah's Witness. You sound like a Jehovah's
I want to turn people Frankish.
Frank Witness.
Yeah, you want to become Frankish. That's my religion.
You just knock on the door. If you do want to know more about our Lord and Savior Thomas Frank, please read this pamphlet.
I'll get the pamphlets made up, mate. I'll get them done. They're in the offing.
Oh, you should create a new Twitter account just called Thomas Frank Propaganda.
No, do you know what it is? I've got to be careful. So when I was doing the Tottenham on Tour Twitter and my Twitter, I always said, don't worry, I won't put any of my massive Levy out rants or whatever you want to call them on Tottenham on Tour. But I kept forgetting to switch accounts.
Right.
So I was putting all my Levy out crap on Tottenham on Tour. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? Delete it. So I was like, take Tottenham on Tour's Twitter away from me. And Brian Ireland and Dave deal with that. I can't do it because I keep forgetting which to switch accounts for the right things. But yeah, join the Frank Revolution. Become Frankish.
Become Frankish.
Yeah, soon I'll be doing those adverts for £3 a month to help him with his transfer budget.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I think purely from a footballing perspective, it's very intriguing to see what happens with Frank at Tottenham. I think that a lot of people be very, very interested about it. It's because it's like a bit of a I don't know how to put it, but like it's to have someone like Frank who's only ever been at Brentford and overachieved, but seeing how that translates to Tottenham. It's going to be that's what I'm very interested to see if it is something like, does it actually accelerate us a lot, or is it going to be tougher than he thinks? It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so excited for it, man. I really am. I just can't wait to get going.
I told you, I sent you a WhatsApp when you were doing your update, and I watched it earlier. And you were saying, and Simeon was like, I like the idea, and you're like, the more and more I watched, the smile just became bigger and bigger and bigger on your face. I'm like, yes, Ben, yes. Ben is fully Frankish.
Levy's got you right where he wants you. He's got you right where he wants you.
He'll never have that. Levy will never.
Levy.
I'm playing chess. I'm playing checkers. Not a chance, mate.
He's got you right where he wants you. You ain't going to be protesting when Thomas Frank's in charge, are you, Brian?
Say again?
You're not going to be protesting when Thomas Frank in charge.
Oh yes, I will. If Frank doesn't get what he wants, I'm doubling down, mate. And me doubling down on Levy out is quite something.
Yeah, Matt O'Rourke's asking, where's Postecoglou going next? I think Forest is out, man.
Yeah, I think he'll go somewhere good. I don't think he's going to find it hard to get a job. The only thing I would say is I don't know what amazing jobs are available. I have to look into it. But I think once one comes available, he'll be seriously considered for a decent job, I think.
If he does take the Forest job, can he do better than what Nuno did?
I think he can. Well, I think he can win the Conference League.
Mm. But Nuno can win
Um,
the Conference League.
I mean, who knows? If we have to see if he does, I don't know. I guess in theory he can. Anyone in the Premier League should be able to. To be fair,
Yeah, exactly.
I seriously go if Leeds get rid of Farke, I could seriously see him being at Leeds.
Mm. But I'm saying, can he finish above 7th in the Premier League with Forest?
with European football, I don't know.
I can't see it.
In a one game a week, yeah, still probably not. I don't know. I don't know if Nuno can ever do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Nuno did do it.
He did do it.
You definitely get that. You definitely, when you mentioned yesterday, Ben, the links that kind of tie Ange and the possibility of Forest, it does seem like the perfect fit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the only problem is they've got a manager in right now with Nuno, and
Yeah.
are they going to get rid of him? I don't know. Where else could he go? I'm just trying to think.
West Ham.
I saw a post from a West Ham fan being like, "Get Ange in now," and the replies were not too complimentary of him. Let's say the least.
Did you? I got sent something as well from the Brentford fans, and the Brentford fans they're saying, "Would you take a swap deal?" Obviously, Frank's obviously going there. They're like, "Not a chance." Brentford were like, "No." They're fans. They were.
Oh,
To Brentford.
What about Brighton?
they've got a manager that they just got that's doing well.
Hurtsler, I know, but you never know. Maybe he'll get snapped up somewhere if that comes available.
Do you not think he's going to be in a job from this summer?
Who? Hurtsler?
No, Ange.
Oh no! This summer I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what jobs are available. He might have to wait for one to open up.
Let's see what's available. Nah. Not many clubs. I mean, I would have thought Leipzig would have been a good one if they didn't. I think they've hired the manager now, though. Do they have a manager? I don't know if they do, you know.
Who? Leipzig?
Yeah.
So they didn't appoint anyone.
I thought they did. I think Ange could do really well in the
Bundesliga. I agree.
Bundesliga. They appointed Lowe as interim head coach on March the 30th. And was he sacked?
Joachim Low.
No, Zolst Lowe.
Oh. On an interim. If he's an interim, then he's an interim.
I mean, if that job is available, I thought I saw somewhere that they have appointed someone. But if that job's available, he should be in the running for it.
Do you know what? Someone just put it. Going back to someone. If the next manager comes in at Brentford, and let's say they got relegated, does that not even highlight how much of a great job Thomas Frank had done?
100%. And I think if Brentford don't get this appointment right, they could very well go down next season.
Yeah.
But having said that gap from the Championship to the Premier League now is just so big. Like,
yep.
Last 2 years, the 3 promoted clubs have gone down. Like, they've got a big season on their hands. Sunderland, who is it? Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds.
Yeah. It's the gap.
McKenna, though. If it is McKenna, I back McKenna to do a good job at Brentford.
I think he'd be the one that I think would go there.
That's what they're saying.
That's rumors. Yeah, it'd be a smart appointment, McKenna. Someone like him who also can play decent football, is kind of tactically. But yeah, I think he fits the mold. He fits the mold.
Well, there's obviously people were saying, do they promote within? Because that's how Frank got the job. He took over from Dean Smith. He went in as Dean Smith's assistant coach, and they promoted him. But obviously, hopefully, Frank brings his team.
He will. I think that's what the discussions are at the moment.
Yeah.
But in terms of McKenna at Brentford, I don't think McKenna's anywhere near as adaptable as Frank is. So potentially he could be in a bit of trouble there if he goes there.
And you talk about us.
He uses different formations.
You talk about Frank coming in as a much bigger club and the big club mentality. To Brentford fans, whoever replaces Frank, they are massive shoes to fill. There's going to be a lot of pressure to carry on where Frank left off, and that's going to be big for them.
Yeah, I know, 100%. 100%. What's the prediction, Brian? Then where are we finishing next season under Frank?
I've said top 8.
I want a position, mate.
Can I give you the position after the window?
No, you can give me one now and then one after the window.
Okay. So right now, I'll say 7th.
7th.
Yep. I'll say 7th.
I'm going to go 6th.
Okay.
I am going to go 7th.
7th. What's his record like in the cups for Brentford?
Not good.
Not the best, but you know what? This is one of the things. One of the things I had with fans today. They were going, look at how great your Thomas Frank is. He lost to Plymouth in the FA Cup. And I was like, okay, so that means Arnie Slot is useless.
Yeah, Arnie Slot played the kids though, didn't he?
So it's still Liverpool kids should still technically get past a bottom of the championship team.
I was listening to a Brentford fan. Apparently, he does rest a lot of players in the cups
because his main aim is to stay in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, it's different to Tottenham, 100%.
Exactly.
Brian, if we do rest a lot of players in the third round of the Carabao and go out, will you give him the same amount of stick as we gave Ange?
No.
No, but in Ange's third game and fourth game in charge, he rested a lot of players at Fulham, and we went out, and he came under so much stick and criticism.
And you know what? If you go back and watch, we were at that game. That was one of the worst games I've ever had the misfortune to watch. But if you go and watch, I was in your car on the way home. Just for a change, my actual rant about that performance was Levy not backing him.
Yeah.
It was more so if he goes out in the third round. I remember the other reason I was going mad with that as well. You've got to remember in that with Ange going out in the second round, not third round this time, second round, we didn't have any European football. There was just domestic football for Tottenham in Ange's first season, whereas obviously the two things he will be focusing on is the Champions League and the Premiership. So if we had to go out of the cup early, Carabao all day long.
Frank, in one of the interviews I was watching, says that his background is like talent spotting, and one of his assistant coaches, I think, is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been like heavily involved in the recruitment of all these players at Brentford and bringing them into the club. Do you think, like, knowing all that we need to change our recruitment policy and the way we do things? And do you think we will?
You got to hope so. If you're bringing them all in, you can't bring them all in and go, right now you do what we do. You brought them in to do what they do.
Yeah, I would just do this to everyone, though, don't they?
Yeah, but again, this is the thing. This is why I think this window. We always say it, don't we? That this window is massive. This is the window. If there is change at board level, which we've seen, and there is going to be a change of direction in how we deal with transfers and the money is spent and what we do, then I think we'll see it this window. They've got to do something because it just hasn't worked, has it? Everything we've tried, it's not way. Even the data analytics we went down hasn't really worked, has it?
No.
So
To a certain extent, I mean, we got Lucas Bergvall off the back of it.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah. I mean, the players as well that we've got of it, like Brennan Johnson and Archie Gray, are two players that Frank wanted.
Yep.
Van der Ven.
I think again. Do you know what?
Still pretty well, actually.
I think Brennan Johnson. We see a different Brennan Johnson next season as well.
So what do you
I
think?
don't know.
Can he build on? You mean like just impact?
Position-wise, impact, not just a far post tapping merchant. Not saying he's going to be this wonderful player that starts weaving in and out.
He's more involved, but he's getting less goals.
I think you'll see him play more like he did with Forest. It'll be more direct.
He also wasn't that much of a that much.
Yeah, but that season, the first season, Nottingham Forest stayed up because of Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, because he scored.
Yeah, and I think we'll have him in more positions to be in those kind of positions where he was scoring, and not just relying on the far post. I think you see a different Brennan Johnson this season. I really do. Whether that means he's going to go on to be like player of the season, I'm not saying that, but I think.
So you think he can get more than 18 goals next season?
Potentially. For the last 2 years, I've put bets on at the Scotland Yard that he'll get more than 15 Premier League goals and assists. And when we made the bet the first season, it was a few games. We made it from when he scored his first goal against Wolves. He ended up with 14. This season again, 14. But obviously he scored. I'm talking Premier League only. I forgot to add Europe into the bet last year. I think he gets more than 14 goal involvements in the Premier League by far under Frank.
You know who I think you're going to see a different version of is Solanke. I think you'll see him use Solanke in a different way. And we know Frank, he uses tools to their strengths. And I think he'll play to Solanke's strengths next season. And you'll see him get a lot more goals.
Yep.
My prediction.
It was all about getting the service for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He likes to whip crosses in, Frank.
Exactly. And that's playing to his strengths. So maybe you'll see Brennan Johnson get more assists like he did in the first season. Because he got like 10, 11 assists in his first season.
Yep.
He got barely any last season.
Yeah, but he got a lot more goals.
Yeah. But you need to merge the two, don't you? It shouldn't just be one or the other.
Okay, he's still young. Give him time.
Yeah, I'm not using it as a stick to beat him with. I'm just saying, like, he showed one side of himself in the first year, another side in the second year. Maybe Ange can merge them together.
Frank,
yeah.
Stop doing that. I'll retract your Frankish card. You won't be part of the faith.
All
right. I think we'll leave it there then, guys.
Yeah. I am tired.
I keep telling you guys, it's only 9:30. No, it's 9:20. Such lightweights.
Maybe me and Sim can log off and you can just stay on here on your own.
Well, Joe, if I'd logged in, I could have done, but I could have done. But again, it's been wonderful having another late night stream with you.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing them back very often, guys. So I want to big up to everyone in the chat that have stuck with us. Big up to Brian.
Big week ahead. Big week
ahead. We'll be back live from the studio tomorrow. And come and join us there, guys. So
that's one.
Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on,
Frank.